Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by Coach Holt. It's been a minute, but hey, glad to be back, and not glad to be reporting a loss last night. But hey, the Dodgers coach have been playing very well. They've won 7 of their last 10. They've won 12 of their last 17. Did not win last night, but it's been a good stretch of baseball for the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're going through a lot, as we know, Case, since we've been on here. I mean, all Dodger fans know a lot of things happening, good and bad, and they're hanging on, though. I mean, we know there's such a talented team, with everything going on. Like you mentioned, they're still 7-3 in the last 10 and still leading the division by just 3 games, because the D-backs and Padres aren't going away. And we've been saying all year, those are good teams. We knew it, Case. We knew it last year. We know they're good teams, and they're not going away. So that's okay. Sometimes it makes you better to have to fight all the way down to the end rather than have the big lead like we did last year and coast, quote unquote, somewhat. So now there's no coasting this year. The schedule's pretty daunting from here on out, and you got a couple chances there to pick up some wins. I mean, but it's Major League Baseball. They can win them all, or they can lose them all. So, but they're in a good position right now and fighting through this.
Yeah, it's very hard to describe how difficult at the professional baseball level, any level, whether it be at the complex or the single A level, Rancho, high A level, Great Lakes, or double A Tulsa, triple A Oklahoma City, or certainly in the major league level, how hard it is to win 70% of your games in a 10-game stretch, or to win, to go 12-5 in a 17-game stretch. That is just an extremely difficult thing to do. So we've said it many different times. You kind of hit on it there. But I think getting pushed by the Padres and the D-backs is something the Dodgers needed, but I didn't want it to be like this close. I wanted it to be like 5 or 6 games to where you're like, man, we don't want that to get down to 2 or 3. It's a little bit closer than I wanted as far as my comfort zone goes.
No, I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm like you. I'm glad they're pushing us, but I'd feel a lot better if it's a 6-game lead instead of a 3. But, the cream will rise to the top. Use all the cliches you want there. The cream always rises to the top. The Dodgers are being challenged. We'll find out what they're made out of. We already know what they're made out of. They're the greatest players on the face of the earth amongst all the other major league players. That's who they are. And we've got good leadership from the top to bottom, and we got good leadership in the clubhouse. And they're just trying to overcome a lot. Freddie's got a fracture in his middle finger. He's going to fight through it. We're not going to lose him, but he's also 3 for 23 since that happened. So there's some concern there. With one of your big sticks. So there's a lot of things going on, but, it's the next man up, as we've always said. Everybody knows that. That's nothing new, but they're finding ways to fight through it. But I'm like you. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with a 6-game lead going, hey, the Padres and the D-backs are good, which we knew. And it is what it is. It's big-time baseball. Let's go.
If you're Dave Roberts or the front office, what autonomy level do you give Freddie Freeman with that finger? I mean, do you step in and say, no, this is our decision. It's best for the team that you heal that thing. And, hey, you're only 3 for 22. Anyway, sorry, Freddie, we love you, but this is what we're going to do? Or do you let him kind of make the decisions as to whether or not he's good enough to play?
I'd kind of let him make it. I think it's on his throwing hand, isn't that right, Casey? The middle finger of the right hand, hairline fracture. We know that. It's basically what a basketball player would get. We all played basketball, got a jam finger. I'm not going to call it a jam finger. It's a hairline fracture, but it's kind of like a sprained ankle. It's basically a torn ligaments. You'll get right down to it. There's several different ways of looking at it, but I think Freddie, I think that's the situation there. Freddie's a true professional, great teammate, great player. I think they're going to let him. It's probably, pick and choose some days off there, maybe to nag it, but he certainly can't miss an extended amount of time. But, we got Kike playing over there, I think. So, it is what it is. But, he's been a good player, but he's not Freddie Freeman. So
that kind of brings you to your next topic with a 3-game lead. Now, it is 3 games. I mean, you would have to lose 3 in a row, and the D-backs or the Padres would have to win 3 in a row. That's a situation to where, the Dodgers, they're getting more healthy by the day. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to throw tonight in rehab. Freddie's going to come back. That would pretty much complete the cycle if you get Tyler Glasnow back as well. But how much room do you have to play like a Chris Taylor and a Kike Hernandez last night if Freddie Freeman's healthy?
I don't think you have a lot of leeway there. I think Hernandez, obviously, Taylor's been out. That's not fair to judge him on that, but Hernandez is played well. He is what he is. He's not a big-time hitter, but he can play a lot of positions, as he's proven. He's very valuable to the Dodgers, and Taylor is too defensively. But I think as time goes on, you got to get some more batting in there. You get more hitting in there, and I think if Freddie's healthy, you'll see Kike playing, but I don't know. I think it's probably going to limit some stuff with Taylor, and I don't know. You want to get into the Hayward deal? I know there's a lot that goes into that, but I hated seeing Hayward go for a lot of reasons. And he went to get Taylor back on the roster. So I've got my own personal opinion. I'll keep myself. But I'm not the guy making a decision. I know there's probably monetary issues going on. There's a lot of things going on. And a guy can play numerous positions outside of a guy who can't. So I know a lot went in that decision. They're not going to let a Jason Hayward go unless they put tons of thought into it. And it was a hard decision for everybody. He's a great teammate, an outstanding person, and here, lo and behold, he goes to our hated Astros. So whatever. But good for Jason. Good for Jason.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a little bit cutthroat in terms of the way that I'm looking at this. But I have said so many different times with the Hayward situation, Coach, that this Dave Roberts, I think he's a tremendous manager over 162. I think he provides an incredibly comfortable culture for the Dodgers to play in. But I think one of the things where they have failed is just kind of managing to the bottom line, like, hey, brother, we love you, but we got to do this. Sorry, we're moving on, this kind of thing. You've seen the Dodgers do that quite a bit this year, and we get to see it a lot with our prospects. I mean, the prospects get treated this way more than any other. The veterans, they get a lot of leeway in this organization. The rookies, hell, they're liable to go up and do great and then still get sent down. So we see this cutthroat type of situation with the rookies all the time. Now, obviously, they have the ability to come back. But, hey, if you're Jason Hayward, in my opinion, okay, you're hitting 208, your OPS is 682, there's nothing you can complain about if you get cut. I mean, if you don't want to get cut from the Dodgers, then don't have a 208 average and OPS 682. And then whenever you actually do get hurt, actually use your rehab setting. I mean, he wasn't willing to go down to the minor league setting like everybody else has had to do to work his way back onto, he could have taken the assignment, done well in Oklahoma City, worked his way back to the major league lineup at the end of the year, and then been a factor that way. He didn't want to do that. So basically what he told the Dodgers was, I'm hitting 208, I'm 682, everybody says I'm a great teammate, but I'm not willing to do anything other than stay on the major league roster and continue to get chances to try to help this team.
Well, I mean, they have to make that decision. Like you said, you're hitting 260, you have some leeway. And you go down to Oklahoma City, you look good, you look healthy. There'd probably be a different decision made there.
Yeah, right.
But he kind of pushed them against, like you said, played their hand. He played his hand. They said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. And they did what they had to do.
Plus, Chris Taylor, here's another factor to that, Coach, is that Miguel Rojas is a little bit older. He's already been hurt a couple of times this year. Tommy Edman is a shortstop. We know that he just came off the long IL stint. And so they want to keep Mookie Betts in right field. So I think that insurance of Chris Taylor being able to play shortstop is something that is valuable to this organization too.
That's why I said you got a guy who doesn't play multiple positions, a guy that's got one. That's why Taylor and Hernandez are so valuable for this team. Right. You can plug them in anywhere on the field. And they've proven that during their career. So unfortunately, you're going to have to take the batting average that goes with it. But you've got to have those defensive position players, and they can play everywhere. And that's why that's the main reason they're with the team. I mean, going off batting average, they wouldn't be here. So they're there because of the value they can bring to the ball club, any ball club, and that's why they're there.
Well, I will move on from that situation, but those are my thoughts on that. That's probably a little bit too much of a cutthroat way to look at it, but I want to win a World Series this year, and I am just super pleased that the Dodgers front office are making the tough decisions to put themselves in that situation. Okay.
Yep.
Last night, Jack Flaherty, Coach, another one of those just really scrappy outings for him. The fastball was getting hit. I mean, it's only like 94, 95. And, I know he got behind 3-1 to O'Hearn, and O'Hearn just hit the home run to give the Orioles a lead. And then after he got behind after that a couple different times, he came back with a curveball. But in essence, last night, Jack Flaherty was almost strictly a curveball pitcher. He threw one slider that got hit for the second home run. Mm-hmm. But so, I mean, it was like curveball, try to get chase, and then just kind of show the fastball every now and then to keep the Orioles off the curveball. And hey, I can't tell you, when when you're in that kind of situation to where you're trying to hide your fastball and having to locate it perfectly, and you're relying on a pitch like the curveball that breaks so much that relies on swing and miss, that is a very difficult night to execute. And I was really proud of and very impressed with Jack Flaherty that he was able to grind through that situation.
No, he competed, as you mentioned. It's like when the last time we saw Kershaw. He knows what he is now. He has to pitch. He has to know what his strengths and weaknesses are now. And Flaherty the same way. He gives you a great start, and the bullpen. He got out of a couple of tough situations, and we've been pretty harsh on the bullpen at times, and with good reason sometimes. But they did a good job last night too. Just Dodgers couldn't come through the big hit. They had a couple opportunities there against the Orioles relievers too, and just couldn't come up a little bit short. Had the time run on base in the ninth inning. So it is what it is. It's two good major league ball clubs, and comes down to a 3-2 ball game, and those things happen. But Flaherty, there's nothing in that start that's going to other than the fact, like you said. He's a curveball. He's a breaking ball pitcher now. So, but it's okay. He knows who he is, and still 94, 95 is not going to hurt you if you spot it.
No, right. Absolutely. I do think there are a few alarm sounds as far as I don't think the type of outing he had last night is super sustainable, just because I think that breaking ball thing is a really tough thing to do. And what happens if the Orioles don't chase that curveball like 25 times? It seems like they did last night. But I'll tell you what, this is an Orioles team. Man, they swing out of their shoes, and I mean they hit it. They want it to be a home run. We see this a lot with the Dodgers, but it's just kind of interesting when you see the other teams and you go, wow. You think the Dodgers are boom and bust. You think they're a 3 true outcome type team. Look at the Orioles, man. It's like they swing as hard as they can just in case they can hit it.
Well, and I noticed on the broadcast last night they mentioned they're the best team in the major leagues hitting breaking pitches, hitting curveballs. And as you mentioned, Slider was the 2-run homer that put them ahead. Slider stayed down the zone and made contact with it. But you're absolutely correct. Big, strong guys, young cats that are blowing and going, and it's good to see Jackson Holiday from a personal standpoint get a base hit, and he's feeling his way back into the big leagues. He's much better this second time up. He's still got a ways to go, but he's still a 20-year-old kid. We all know that, but it's good. It's good to be able to watch him playing against your Dodgers and playing in Dodger Stadium. But I'd love for him to do well. And the Dodgers win. That's kind of how I want that to go. But
yeah. Which wasn't last night. Jackson did get. I know he got at least the one hit. I think he got a second hit. He got one hit later. Yeah, Jackson deer draw hurt obviously because he grew up in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where you're living right now, where I grew up, and going to be frequent, like every week. Obviously, going to be there Saturday for Oklahoma State's big home opener against. I'm going to keep saying San Diego State because it's SDSU, but it's South Dakota State, who is a very good Division I AA team. But, hey, Coach, it's one of those stretches. It seemed like earlier in the year, even when the Dodgers were playing some of the teams that weren't as good, like the Pirates or whatever, they were facing their best pitchers like every single time they came through the rotation. Like I know the Dodgers have had to face Paul Skeens twice. I don't think the Padres had to face him any time they played the Pirates. So it seemed like you're on the opposite stretch in the sense that even when you're playing the bad teams, you got their best pitchers. So now the Dodgers, like the Cardinals, decent team, Mariners had been a good team, and now even the Orioles, you're facing teams that actually are good teams, but are in a stretch of their season right now where they're just not playing good at all. So what looked like a really daunting schedule 2 or 3 weeks ago turned into being a really good stretch for the Dodgers because, again, the teams you're playing, it just feels like they have an aura to them. You go through those stretches where you're just waiting for something bad to happen, and at the same time, it's created a positive vibe for the Dodgers. I felt like all night last night, hey, you just kept waiting for the Dodgers to do something to win because you felt that way for the last couple of weeks. Yeah,
and they're playing, like we said, Case, originally the schedule is – wow, they're going to have to earn it, and they are. They're still going to have to. Like I said, the Pirates are not very good. With Paul Skeens on the mound, they're the best team in the big league. So let's face it, that dude is unbelievable. So it doesn't matter, as you mentioned, depending on who's on the mound. And the D-backs are played. I know they come up next. I guess a 4-game series coming up with the D-backs after this. Fun. Is that correct? And it's weird how the schedule now they're played Thursday through Monday now. They're going the 4-game series, right? Yeah, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday down. I know there's a couple of series in a row they're doing that, so that's a big series coming up with the D-backs. But then you got a couple of series with the Rockies there, so you feel a little bit better about it. You got and the Angels, so you got some things there. It's not quite as daunting as we thought at one time, but yeah, the Orioles, they're like the Dodgers, even the Braves, or whatever, and the Yankees, even when they're in the Phillies. Even when they're struggling, they're the best teams in baseball. I mean, let's face it; those teams have all gone through their struggles this year. And you look at the top of everything. You look at the best records in baseball; those are the teams you see. So, and like I said, the Padres and the D-backs are kind of slowly, quietly. Yeah. I don't know how the D-backs can be quietly doing it, or the Padres either, with the talent they have. But they're kind of quietly in the background, going, "Hey, we're still here." And these other teams better take note. So, but we know that already. I mean, we've been saying that all year. Even the Dodgers had a big lead. Those guys are good behind us.
Yep. I'll tell you what the Padres and D-backs have that you have to respect. Obviously, they have great talent, but they also have great leadership. Mike Schilt, we saw him in St. Louis. Yep. St. Louis is one of the closest teams to us, and there's a lot of Cardinals fans in Oklahoma because, first of all, what's now Double-A Tulsa was actually the AAA affiliate for the Cardinals for many, many, many different years, and that created a lot of St. Louis fans back in the 70s and 80s, and then also back before the internet and all that, the Cardinals were the only team you could get on the radio in Oklahoma. I think you could get the Rangers eventually down the line, but originally, it was like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was KMOX, and it was turn on the Cardinals game. So there's a lot of Cardinals fans in this area, and that's an organization to where they're a good team, but not playing as well. So it was good to see the Dodgers have a good weekend against them. And so, hey, moving on to last night, Coach, it felt like when Tommy Edman answered the original home run for the Orioles, and then whenever Flaherty got out, because it was like the Dodgers got the first two on. And with the Bodner lineup, and then Ohtani pops up, and then Mookie Betts kind of pops up. You don't score, and you're like, dang, man, that was a momentum killer there. And then Flaherty does it right back to the Orioles, and it's 3-2. And you're sitting there, and you're like, okay, well, the Dodgers are going to win this game. I would have bet $1 million that game was not going to end 3-2 at that point. It's crazy how baseball, it can just shut off at any moment.
Sometimes a 3-2 game turns into a 10-9 game, or like you said, it turns into a 3-2 game. You've seen several times teams do all their scoring in the first 2 or 3 innings, and that's it. And a lot of that's got to do with the cats coming out of the bullpen. I think on the big league level, even with the Dodgers has some injuries, those cats are rolling out there all plus. Everybody's got those young guns that coming out there blowing, as your dad used to say, blowing snot coming out of the chute and throwing it. So every team has those. So it makes it tough when you get into – everybody's like, hey, let's get in their bullpen. Well, sometimes some of those teams you don't really want to get in their bullpen. You kind of like that. You kind of like to wear the starter down and do something else there because their bullpen is that good. And that's just a big league thing. That's just everybody's a great player. So, you just got to work your way through that. But, it's a good win for good for the Dodgers last night. They didn't win, but and there's no such thing as moral victories in the big leagues. 3-2 is a loss, and it's one you wish you'd have won. You probably had a lot of ways feel like you could have won or should have won, but it's just the nature of the beast, and it doesn't get any easier. Every day is a new day.
Absolutely. 1,000%. As you mentioned, you got that D-backs series coming up after a 2 more games with the Orioles. Okay, so let's get into some of the aspects of the team, Coach, that might be a little bit more concerning. Let's start with at the top. I think probably injuries would be at the top, but when you're talking about who the Dodgers do have, what in the heck is wrong with Will Smith, Coach? This is going all the way back to May. Yeah. This is a season to where he had all of this great lineup around him. Now, I know pieces here and there like Mookie Betts have been injured, Freddie Freeman now, Max Muncy. I get all that, but Will Smith has had a great lineup around him all year. And, man, to be honest with you, I don't mean to throw shade or any of that, but he's kind of scuffled, for a long, May, June, July, and now August. This has been a long window. What's going on with Will Smith?
Yeah, and after coming off a great start, he had a great start to the season. We're all pumped. We don't really want to get in the catcher deal. He's had some time. They were able to use Barnes, before he got hurt. They were able to use him quite a bit and get Will some rest. And I know he was out for a little while, but he's still, I think one of the big league leaders in throwing out runners, which he did last night as well. So that's a good sign. But we need his offense. I mean, obviously, it's especially when Mookie was out, and when I had my boy Lux up there hitting 3-hole. That was great to see. But he did it out of necessity because at the time he's the best hitter we had. Overall. So, but no, that's a concern now because we all felt like he'd come back, and once he got back and started working his way back into it, that bat would come around again, and it really hasn't on a consistent basis. I agree with you. That's a concern.
Yeah, that's the part of the Dodgers that I did not see coming with Will Smith. I thought he was going to have a career year this year with everybody around him. Okay, right now as we speak, if Yoshinobu Yamamoto does not make it back, if Tyler Glasnow does not make it back, does this Dodgers team have enough in the pitching category to win a World Series?
I think it's going to be very tough. And I'm going to just speak frankly. I don't, with the offensive line, just begin the season, all of our, expectations with the offense and that sort of thing, thought they could overcome a lot of stuff. But it gets, as we know, Case, when it gets down into the playoffs in the late season and actually in the playoffs, the pitching is where it all comes out. It always comes down to pitching. And, not that you're going to play any cold weather games, but there could be if you go to Philadelphia when it's 35 degrees or something, you have that always comes into play in October as well. But, it always comes down to pitching. Not very many teams, just the big bangers don't usually win the World Series. I mean, that's good to have, but you're seeing everybody's dudes. Those short series and everything. You're seeing the pitchers, and I hate saying that. I don't know if they have enough to make the way the pitching staff is set up right now. A little shorthanded on the starters.
I would agree. What do you think about the bullpen? Where are you at with them?
Well, I mean, we need to get some people back there too, but it's been scuffling quite a bit. I mean, they have their days, and we know that Joe Kelly brings you a lot, but he's had some scuffling issues himself, and you're still waiting on some guys to get back. Hopefully, you'll get them back, but it's been shaky at times too. The Dodgers, to their credit, and to Dave Roberts' credit, everybody's credit, they've still been able to be successful in all the scuffling, quote unquote. Yeah. That's a good word to use, I guess. Scuffling they've had from the starters and the bullpen. So, just sitting here I'm going to look at it as a fan, not as a manager right now. Just right. I don't know that we have enough starters in the bullpen to win a World Series at this point, because that's what you have to have. You got to have, down through history. I always had that guy coming out when you're ahead in the ninth inning. Even if you're on the other team, you're like, well, we're screwed. We're not going to hit Mariano Rivera. Good night. We'll look at tomorrow. But I don't know if the Dodgers have that situation where they can feel comfortable going. We've already blown some leads, in the regular season, several of them, and some big leads at late innings. So, I think there's some issues there, and I hope I'm wrong, and I'm going to be pulling for them
Absolutely.
hard, but I hope I'm wrong.
Absolutely. If the Dodgers don't win the World Series, what are they going to hang their hat on?
If they don't win one,
if they do win it, what are they going to hang their hat on?
Well, they're going to have to hang their hat on. I think just guys stepping up. I mean, Ohtani's going to have to get hot. I mean, there's no doubt, and he's hitting leadoff for a reason. They're putting him up there. Hey, you want to walk him? We got a guy on base. He's got 40 stolen bases, by the way. So So we need him to get hot. I mean, we need Smith to hit better. I think they're going to have to hang their hat on the offense being better. I know I just sat here and complained about pitching, but they've proven that they can overcome. These are all major league pitchers. Like last night, you still got a chance of winning the game. You just couldn't get a clutch hit. So we need Freddie. Freddie's got to be healthy every day, and we need Will to pick it up a little bit. And I just think it's going to come. If they're going to win it, they're going to have to be better offensively.
I would, or certainly more consistent, no doubt about that.
Consistent, yes.
And still, hey, we nitpick, but best record in baseball there for an extended period of time at this point now. So all is good in Dodgers land. It is baseball. And another game tonight. That's the beauty of baseball, is you get to play again the next day. So, hey, Coach, it's been a while. It's great to see your face again. I know you're headed off to Glencoe, America, a place that is very dear to your heart, obviously dear to mine too, because that's where our farm is at. Over there, that's where my son just built his house. That's where my dad grew up. And so Glencoe is an absolutely great place. And you were the first coach to take them to the state tournament in basketball about 25 years ago. I'm dating you a little bit there, Coach.
Yep.
Don't think that we forgot all that. After you opened the door there, they won about 3 or 4 state titles, but you got that door open, 5 state titles.
You got 5. My silver ball's hidden up.
Yeah.
You can find it over there, but it's underneath all the gold balls.
But you are the one that got all that started, Coach, and for all of us who've been following Glencoe for so many years, we are in debt to you for getting that program rolling there. So, hey, congratulations on your gig back at Glencoe. Enjoy your time there. Enjoy your day today. It's great seeing your face again, and we love you, Coach.
Love you too, Case. And Glencoe's a special place, as you know, but you're at a special place also, right? Graduated from Guthrie High School. So I'm a Blue Jay deep down too. So it's life is good, man. And it's great seeing you. And I'm glad we're back on. And love you.
Yep. All right, man. Got to walk my dogs.
There you go. There you
go. See you, Coach.
Later.